What's up, YouTube community? It's your favorite broker back with another video. For those that don't know me, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Wayne Chappelle. Welcome to the channel. I am a active licensed broker, real estate broker here in Georgia. I'm based out of Atlanta, and I am a licensed broker in 4 states. So I'm licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I've been licensed for 13 years at this point. My real estate career has been 13 years plus. And as far as what I've done in the industry so far, my sales volume is over 250 million, so that's $250 million in real estate sales volume. I've sold well over 1,000 transactions, closed and in the books at this point. And I'm at a point in my career where I've achieved my goals, right? So what I've set out to achieve, I've totally just blown it out of the water in what I've expected I would do in this industry up until this point. And recently in the past couple of years, I've had tremendous success, and I'm at a point where I feel like I've hit the goals that I need to hit on production. Not saying that I want to leave production, but there's more work that needs to be done in other areas of real estate. And one of the things that I see in this industry, one of the big problems that we have is that there's a high failure rate, right? We have a lot of real estate dropouts, some that need to drop out and some that shouldn't drop out, but they've just given up. So when I'm looking at, and this video is about, the other video was about, should I get into real estate? And I explained about the why, right? Everybody should have a why of why they're doing something, whether that be real estate, or whatever you're trying to pursue. So being that I'm a real estate broker, a lot of people, flip the question back on me, because like I told you in my previous video, I say, well, if you're asking me from an uncertain point of view, whether you should get into real estate, my initial answer is going to be no, you shouldn't. So a lot of people are, try to probe still outside of themselves. They'll come back and ask me, well, why did you get into real estate? And that's what I'm going to answer today in this video. So, let's get right down to it. So why I got into real estate, I can tell you is totally the wrong reasons why anybody should be getting into real estate. And like many others, way back, 13 plus years ago, I got into real estate to make a lot of money. And number one, I was already making a lot of money as a real estate investor. And, I became frustrated, and it was part of a transition, right? So I'm originally from up north, originally from New Jersey. And, moving down to the South was a huge culture shock. Number one, things are done a lot slower down here than they're done up in New York and New Jersey. I basically grew up in the tri-state area. So, everything I was used to, was done in a New York minute. It was done very quickly. So coming down to the South and moving down to Atlanta, things are done a lot slower down here, at least a lot slower than what I was used to, coming up in New York and New Jersey, the tri-state area. So with that being said, I was, an investor, real estate investor, primarily in REITs. So if you don't know what REITs are, they're real estate investment trust. And, came down to Atlanta to pursue getting more control over real estate. If you know anything about REITs, you're involved in the real estate, projects. But, unless you're a manager of that REIT, you don't really have a lot of control over the real estate itself. So I came down here through an opportunity, and also to take advantage of the opportunity to get into real estate. So coming down here, having worked with different, agents and brokers in different areas, it took me an adjustment to get used to it. So when I came down here, I didn't like the fact that, I should say that I didn't like the fact that I couldn't find somebody that I was compatible with as far as a real estate agent. So it became very frustrating in what I was trying to do. So at this point, I was in wholesaling. And if you don't know what wholesaling is, that's a whole topic for another video. But that was one of the main businesses that I did prior to that. But just to give you, a little insight of what wholesaling is basically, what I was doing at the time. You're taking a distressed property and basically reselling it. So you're basically, making a contract or a negotiation with the original seller that's trying to, that may or may not be trying to sell that property, but for whatever reason, you're able to get them under contract to sell. And then you go out and you hunt for an investor or another buyer to buy that property at a higher price than what you went into agreement, to buy it from the original seller. So, in short order, let's say, you have a $50,000 property that you went under contract for with the original seller, and you find an investor that you can sell that property to for, let's say, $75,000, right? So you stand to make, on the spread out of that deal, you're selling it, and the original seller is going to get their $50,000 that you agreed to, and then you're basically going to close again. It's called a double closing. You're going to close again. You're going to close number one with that seller and pay them that 50 grand, and now you have an investor or another buyer that's sitting right next to you, or maybe in another room, who's going to buy that same property from you that you just bought, right? And now and this is complicated, that's why I want to save it for another video, but there essentially is no money coming out of your hands. So the original seller is getting paid their 50 grand, and now you're selling the property again, for 75,000. So there's a $25,000 spread in there, and that is how you make money in doing a wholesale deal. So long story short, I'm not going to get into that, but I'm trying to explain why I got into real estate. So I couldn't really find the right agent, to help me with that process, and to further complicate things, the right attorneys to know how to proceed with a double closing. So this was a very big challenge for me. So I became frustrated, and I figured out, my solution is to just go out and get licensed, right? Become a real estate agent myself, cut the middleman out, and just handle my business the way I wanted to do it. So long story short, and another thing to get into real estate is because I thought that, these agents are making a lot of money, and, I'm already a real estate investor, so why shouldn't I be, getting in on this end of the deal as well? So went to school, got my license, and, through this whole process, I did not realize, lack of education in regards to how to pursue and move forward with what I was trying to do in real estate. Somehow I missed a critical fact going through my real estate license process, right? Through pre-license, going to school, the 75 hours of pre-license training, and passing the real estate exam, and, going to, get my license, and start doing what I wanted to do, which is, basically have access to the MLS and things of that nature. So I can further, enhance finding the deals that I wanted to find, and get access to people's information through tax records without having to go down to, the county clerk or the courthouse to pull this information physically. I'd have remote access to the database. With that being said, I didn't realize that you have to hang your license with a broker. If you're a new agent and you're not a broker, and most agents that come into the business are not qualified to become brokers right out of school, right out of the gate. You have to put some time in, and then go and retake a whole pre-license test to become a real estate broker, which I am today, but I wasn't at this point when I first got into real estate. So that was a critical factor, a critical piece of information that I missed. So when I passed the state exam, I'm looking to get into business, and they would not release my license to me because I didn't, have a broker that I was going to be affiliated with. So I had to do the mad rush of, a lot of interviews and sitting down with different brokers to figure out who I was going to affiliate with and hang my license with. So And that was a process in itself. That took a couple weeks or a month or so. I don't remember at this point, but it took me a little, it took a little while to figure out how I was going to make that happen. And eventually I did find a broker, a major company, a franchise that I did affiliate with and wind up hanging my license with. And then, I kind of ran into some other issues, which I'll talk about in another video, in regards to, wholesaling and doing what I was doing in my real estate business at that time. Now that I'm a licensed agent, because now I have a broker who is responsible for me and all the actions that I do, right? Because, I changed the game for myself. I went from being unlicensed to licensed, and there's a whole, spectrum of responsibility and compliance issues that you got to deal with now that you're a licensed professional in regards to the real estate commission and how real estate laws apply to you as a real estate professional. So I did not know that going into this, but it was a whole learning process. But how I got into the business was as a real estate investor. So, and then, became a real estate salesperson, / realtor, because I did join the board. But, I had a difficult time implementing my wholesaling business into what I was doing. And I'll save that for another video. But what I'm getting to in this video is my why was totally different from what it is now. My why was to generate money. It was all about me. It was all about Wayne Chappelle and how I'm going to use this to benefit me. I wasn't thinking about consumers. I wasn't thinking about clients. I didn't even want to deal with them. And I think I mentioned in a previous video, it was a couple years before I even sold real estate, to clients and customers at that point. My primary business was referrals. So, I figured out that, I could do referrals, pretty much. I'm licensed in Georgia, but I could do referrals, across the country, internationally. And that was my primary niche and source of business, what I did for real estate while I was doing my REIT business, REIT investing, and wholesaling and stock investing. So that was my primary focus. But my why is totally different from what it was when I finally reassessed my business and figured out, down the road, why I was not generating money, why I was not, being, successful in this side of real estate as I was as a real estate investor, is because all the focus was internally. It was towards me. It wasn't towards the customer and the client and the consumer. So my why has changed over the years to shift from being all about me, because it can be all about me, but I'm not going to make any money because I'm not solving problems for people and I'm not helping them engage in what they're trying to do in real estate. So shifting my focus and my mindset from internally to externally, to being able to provide services and provide value to my clients and customers and consumers that I dealing with to this day. Once I shifted my focus around, then I started to become profitable and, start to achieve success in this business. So that until, explains my why of how I got in here and how that's changed. So again, when I started out in the business, my why was totally different from what it is now. And my why back then was not sustainable. And I found out real quick that, hey, I need to change this around if I want to, last in this business. So I wouldn't be able to make it 13 years up to this point and, do the volume that I've done and the transactions that I've closed and the business that I've done in this industry without providing solutions and problems to my clients and customers. So I challenge you guys again, to find your why. If you're coming in this industry, if your why is internal, having anything to do with benefiting you primarily, you're probably not going to be successful, and you're running into the same challenges that I did when you're focused internally versus externally. So once I changed my thought process and my mindset from seeking from within to benefit within versus to benefit, others other than myself, that's when I started to become successful. So that's what this video was about. It's just, people, come back and ask me, they're counter to my answer of saying, no, you shouldn't come into real estate. When they ask me, well, why did you come into real estate? And I explain to them the story and that's how the conversation starts, right? And that's when you truly make an impact to people where they understand, like, okay, maybe I am coming into this business for the wrong reason. So just like I came in for the wrong reason, I'm still here. I'm still in the business. But I wouldn't be if I didn't change my mindset and, who is really the focus of this business. And I said it before and I say it again. If you're in this business, and this is a business, it's not a hobby. If you're in the business, if you're in real estate and you're creating a business, you better be solving a need and providing a value to your customers, clients / consumers. Because if you have them now, they'll be going shortly. Okay? So you need to provide value. And once again, I said in the previous video, you need to be at the center of that value. And when the value shifts in the marketplace like it is today, you need to remain front and center of that value. So however the market is shifting, you need to figure out how you remain in the center of that so you can continue to be profitable in whatever market shifts happen. You're able to adapt and remain front and center of that business to retain your customers and clients and attract consumers to your business. So with that being said, that's how, I got into the business. My why has since changed, and thank God it did, since I came into the business. And, that's what helped me to be successful. So if you're looking to get into the business, again, I challenge you to find out your why. And if your why is not set on helping others, you need to really evaluate, why you want to get in this business or any business in that matter, if you're not providing a solution to help others. So with that being said, please like and subscribe and also comment down below. Like I said, this video, this video is primarily about why I got into business, but this channel, I'm creating this channel to provide resources and to answer the tough questions that we're dealing with in this market. So that is my sole purpose of doing this. That we have a lot of tough challenges ahead in real estate that need answers, and coming together as a community of real estate professionals and future professionals, if you're deciding to get into the industry, that's why I need your help in building out this channel. So please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, and most importantly, provide comments and feedback below so that we can tailor this channel to answer the tough questions that we're dealing with in the real estate industry today. And with that being said, hope you guys have a blessed day and go out there and kill it. Thanks.